The Atlantic Ocean, December 5th, 1872. A ship appeared on the horizon, sails billowing, moving through calm waters. To the sailors of the Dei Gratia who spotted her, something felt immediately, deeply wrong. The vessel moved erratically, with no one at the helm. No one waved from the deck, no one responded to their signals. And when they finally boarded her, they found something that would haunt maritime history for the next 150 years. The ship was called the Mary Celeste. She was a 282-ton brigantine built for commerce and built for the sea. 11 souls had departed New York Harbor exactly 10 days earlier. Captain Benjamin Briggs, a man of impeccable reputation, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and 7 experienced crewmen. They carried 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol, bound for Genoa, Italy. It should have been a routine voyage. But nothing about what was found aboard the Mary Celeste was routine. The first mate who boarded her expected chaos. What he found instead was silence. The ship was in nearly perfect condition. The cargo was largely intact. 6 months of food and water remained in the hold. The crew's personal belongings, clothing, pipes, worn boots, were still neatly stored in their places. A half-eaten meal sat cooling on the captain's table. A child's toy lay on the floor of the cabin, as if the entire crew had simply stepped out for a moment. And yet, every single person on board was gone. The ship's compass had been damaged. The chronometer and sextant, critical navigation tools, were missing from their mounts. One of the ship's pumps had been deliberately disassembled, and most chilling of all, the single lifeboat was gone. Whatever had happened aboard the Mary Celeste, at some point, every soul on board had chosen to leave. But why? And where had they gone? The last entry in the ship's log was dated November 25, 1872, a full 10 days before the Dei Gratia found her drifting. The final position recorded placed the Mary Celeste just off the island of Santa Maria in the Azores. Between that final log entry and the moment of discovery, 400 miles of open ocean and 10 days of silence had swallowed every answer whole. When the Dei Gratia towed the Mary Celeste into Gibraltar, British authorities launched an immediate investigation. The Attorney General, Frederick Flood, was convinced of foul play. He examined the ship with obsessive intensity, searching for blood, for evidence of mutiny, for the residue of piracy. He found strange reddish stains on the deck. He found a sword below deck that appeared to carry unusual marks. He was certain he was standing in the aftermath of mass murder. But the forensic test that followed destroyed his theory completely. The stains were not blood, they were rust. The marks on the sword were ordinary wear. There was no sign of violence anywhere aboard the vessel. No body, no sign of struggle, no crime of any kind, just absence. And so the theories began. Some said the crew panicked when fumes from the alcohol cargo began escaping. Fearing an imminent explosion, they abandoned ship, tethered the lifeboat to the Mary Celeste on a long rope, and intended to reboard once the danger had passed. But the rope snapped, the wind took the ship, and 11 people were left to drift in the open Atlantic with no supplies and no hope. Others whispered darker possibilities: a waterspout, a sudden seaquake that shook the hull with such violence it drove rational men to irrational decisions, a weather event that terrified an experienced crew into abandoning a ship that was ultimately never in any real danger. The panic of ordinary men, trapped in the grip of the unknown, making a fatal choice in a single moment of terror. And some refused to believe any rational explanation at all. They pointed to the untouched meal, the child's toys, the boots left behind. No one, they argue, abandons a ship in calm weather without taking their belongings. No one leaves behind a child's shoe. Something else happened aboard the Mary Celeste, something the ocean has chosen to keep secret forever. The crew was never found. Captain Briggs, his wife, his daughter, and 7 men vanished without a single trace. No wreckage, no bodies washed ashore, no final distress signal, no last message. They simply ceased to exist, somewhere between the Azores and the cold gray floor of the Atlantic. The Mary Celeste sailed on. She changed hands 17 times over the following years, as though no owner could bear to keep her. Each new captain who took her helm felt something they could not name: a weight in the air, a silence too thick, a ship that felt incomplete in a way no one could explain. She finally met her end in 1885, deliberately run aground off the coast of Haiti,
destroyed as part of an insurance fraud scheme that ultimately failed. Even her ending carried the mark of tragedy. But the question she left behind, the question that no court, no scientist, no historian has ever truly answered, still echoes across the Atlantic. What happened in those 10 silent days? What does 11 people see or hear or feel that made them choose the open sea over the safety of their ship? And why, of everything they left behind, did no one ever come back? Some ships carry their secrets to the bottom of the ocean. The Mary Celeste carried hers on the surface for the whole world to see. And still, to this day, no one can explain what they are looking at.
Thank you for watching this video. If you have watched this far, you already know that the truth is almost always stranger than the theory. You already know that the official explanation is almost always the one that leaves the most out. Please like, comment, and subscribe, because the next chapter does not begin where this one ended. It begins somewhere much darker.